Okay, so here we are heading towards issue 46 and the last issue of this collection. I am also hoping that it will be the last issue before I move house. I don't have a date yet, but it's just something I'm really hoping for. So let's have a quick look here. This is the issue feels like it might be a bit thicker now. I think if it is, the reason behind it is we just get a single small sprue and a small miniature of a Sylvaneth branch witch. So I'll go into that model a bit more in a second, but there we go. There's our branch witch. It looks, again, like everything Sylvaneth, I just love it. It's just so aesthetically pleasing. There's something when you look at it, it just flows from top to bottom. I think just they got it so right. I can't fault what they have created with the faction. And this is coming from someone who has never had an elf army in his life. You know, I just don't have any interest in them. But this army has just captivated me. So, the issue itself sort of going to start off, it says, with science and sorcery. Now, as I mentioned in other videos, I've just read the Archnaut's Oath, so I suspect I know what the science part is, and I hope that we all kind of know what sorcery is, but it might kind of open that understanding of how the science is actually just a different form of sorcery. It's Druid sorcery, so let's dive in and see what we can find. So, interestingly, the first thing that we get is actually lore on the Night Haunts. So ghosts, basically, an army of ghosts. There's no other way to put it. Which, you know, obviously is very linked into sorcery because it's necromantic. But I think that's just kind of like an aside more than anything, that piece of lore. It's just telling you about the Night Haunt faction, which is part of the Order of Death. Now, this is the part that they were on about science and sorcery. And as I suspected, there's the Caradron Overlords. Fend off a surprise aerial attack. You know, I mean, again, I like the look of the Caradron Overlords. I like the look of them because, again, it's kind of like the Doradin up in the skies, the dwarfs up in the skies, wearing flight suits, and obviously with the Doradin, they can be like heavily muscled, but also you know, very overweight. So it's like the Caradron Overlords feel like they are dwarfs who have strict diets almost by the exception of their own kind, and that probably sounds very strange. But you look at the art for them, and even look at the miniatures, and they look almost like they actually make an effort to keep fitting in their flight suit. Because I imagine that making a flight suit's not easy for for the dwarves, for the Doradin. So they probably don't have the ability just to kind of keep letting it out. So, you know, that's quite interesting, isn't it? It talks about them harvesting aether gold, and particularly in the realm of metal. Again, really good book is Archnaut's Oath if you want to, because it kind of explains in good detail the lengths that they go to get that stuff. And again, they're calling it science, but then the sorcerer, the mage who's with them, they're basically saying it's not. It is magic that you've used in a different way. So I like that kind of, yes, it's technology, yes, it's science, but it's science derived from magic. Now, as someone who loves Terry Pratchett's Discworld novels, that is just, you know, something very you know, very grounding. I like the idea that you can use magic in the same way as scientific approaches. You're just doing science in a different way, you know, based upon the laws of your universe. And that's important because particularly with Age of Sigmar, we're not talking about a round globe here, are we? We're not talking about planets. We are actually talking about, as far as I can tell, flat discs moving around. You know, and the ridiculous improbability of that actually being possible. So there is this. If you are dealing with a magical world, then if you are incorporating science, you have to make that science beholden to the improbability of magic in the first place. It's probably a very strange, but you know, there we go. And it's important though that you set rules for your, you know, your fantasy world, and you stick to your rules. And if you are going to incorporate something else into them, it's got to feel like it belongs there. AKA Terry Pratchett's Discworld. They build a computer. It's a magical computer. It obeys the laws of magic, you know, and it works in that way. So yeah, that's quite an interesting read through. Talks more about the Sylvaneth, which is good because I think really for, you know, issues that have had the Sylvaneth, it's probably not gone into as much detail as we would want. It's looking as well now. It looks to me like we've got here. So I'm looking at those there. They look very similar to, in pose anyway, they look like they kind of use the same base as the Reverend. So I'll have to read into that to see whether or not that's correct. But what we can see here is these look like the Reverends with a different style of arms, which I sort of suggested was something that I expected to happen on the sprue, that if you got two, you could build them in two different ways. So again, you've got an interesting bit of lore here on the Sylvaneth. It goes on for a couple of pages actually. Then you've got the information about the Branch Witch itself. And again, it's that kind of, you know, what kind of sorcery is it? What is, you know, what is Sylvaneth sorcery? What is its purpose? You know, my guess is it's a combination of withering, the death and regrowth, you know, because that is the cycle of nature, the kind of complex cycles of nature. How to build the Branch Witch, which, as you might guess, we would expect. How to paint the Branch Witch, again, that's kind of what you expect. And then the War Scroll, good. So I've got the War Scroll. Have a good read through that. Have a kind of understanding of what it is and what it does. So, yeah, it's got some... Fury of the Forest is one of its spells, and it's got Unleash Sprites. So basically, forest creatures, I'm guessing that it sends out to cause harm. And what else have we got here? War Scrolls tutorial, battle plan number 6, the Realm Scout and the Strangled Glade. So again, Sylvaneth battle, focusing on the Sylvan. Oh, actually, no. I thought it was going to be very heavy on the Sylvaneth this, but it's not. It's Branch Witch, Night Judicator, and Yuthari's Guardian. So although it does have it, the Sylvaneth, you could actually make it predominantly about the you could actually take a larger force of Stormcasts. What else have we got here? We've got the Alliance of Destruction, Gloomspite Git focused, but with the ability to take some of the Cruel Boys along with it. Let's have a look. So the Strangled Glade battle to enjoy, and you know, we're on to the kind of what's coming up now. Having a look at what's coming up, we've got another piece of terrain, that unsung hero of any battlefield, and it looks quite interesting, that. So it looks like it's got an active spell within it. Now, those kind of pieces of terrain will, of course, pose a danger to anyone nearby them. So it's going to be one of those, I assume, a source of important power, an objective to take and hold. By the same logic, a dangerous piece potentially to be around, so we don't know, it could, go either way. Now, send in the cavalry. Nice. Boing bounders. Yeah, because that is exactly what Gloomspike Git cavalry should look like. I'm looking forward to that. And what a name, Boing Bounders. What a cool name. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that then. Right, so there we go, issue number 46, and let's have a look at the actual model just quickly then before we finish up. I almost got so excited, I almost didn't show the model off. As you can see, single sprue. When you've got a single sprue like this, you expect a single pose. But that doesn't mean that if you know what you're doing with converting, because we've got so many spare parts from different miniatures, if you wanted to make this look different, I'm sure the ability is there. So if you want to customize it and make it your own, I'm sure that we could use some of the Reverent parts and mix them in, because I do like converting. I'm not going to convert this because I need to do my how to build videos, but you know what, the idea is there. So it's a straight up build. Again, like with all the Sylvaneth, the aesthetic works. I can't explain how and why I find that it works, and you're free to disagree, and if you disagree, say it. Everyone's opinion, well, within reason, is valid. Yeah. Anyway, so there we go. We've got some nice issues this time round. I'm really pleased. Gosh, it feels like it's been a year almost, doesn't it? It probably has been, hasn't it? I'm gonna have to work it out. And I'm, I think that's sort of something to reflect on coming up, really. But there we go. That's the miniatures. I'm gonna see you in the how to build videos, and I will see you next time.